Hi, my name is Rachel Coventry and I'm with Curtis Orchard. I am one of the owners. I'm also a manager here in the store and a beekeeper. And so what is my job? My job is so vastly different depending on the time of year. It's really hard to give you a concrete definition of it because here, being a small business, we wear many different hats. I'm rarely just sitting at my desk doing office work, although that is part of it, of course, and more of that happens during the season when we're in a hiring phase. So I'm gonna go kind of by seasons. So January, the spring or winter months, that is a lot of planning as far as sitting down with the rest of the team and visioning what we want to see for the future fall season. What changes are we making? What are we not gonna do? What are we spending our money on that year? What's our new project? And those types of things are all happening in the winter months. So maybe we add a new activity like a jump pad. All that research and installation happens before July when we open. So once we get into the spring months, that's when a lot of the planting happens. And yes, I'm an indoor person, but guess what? I go out there and I help plant those trees and I help tie them down. I'm doing lots of different things. I may not be the person in charge of the decision making as far as what trees we're planting, but I certainly will assist in that area. Then as we get into July, August, September, October, the heart of the season, my time is spent hiring and training and just running the show of as far as all the employees below me and the managers below me, and just trying to make sure things run smoothly in every single department. We hire about 150 employees in our season. So you can imagine this takes a lot of paperwork and thought and time and going into each individual person that we hire in order to train and make sure they know where they're going, and just communicating with the different department managers, making sure everyone has the staffing that they need. We do hiring every 2 weeks, and this year was unique with COVID. We actually did all of our interviews via Zoom, which was actually not a bad thing. It was a way to get to know a smaller group at a time. Prior to that, we would do in-person interviews, which would be about 30 people, and we'd split them up into groups and have different tasks and that sort of thing. This was a little more concentrated, maybe 10 to 12 people, and it was more about getting to know your preferences and where you saw yourself fitting, and that seemed to work out really nicely as far as adapting to the current climate with things. So that's a little bit about my job. How does beekeeping fit in there? With all that, I still got to make time to go out to check on the bees about every 2 weeks, maybe 3 to 4 weeks, depending on what is happening. I still try and fit honey harvesting in there, and that usually happens at the end of August. Once I determine that they're ready for harvesting, hive inspections happening, maintenance. You can see the observation hive behind me, and that is just one of the many aspects of beekeeping, that checking on that and making sure it's doing well as well. I did go to Parkland. I got my associate's degree, and then I transferred to the University of Illinois, and I got my bachelor's in ag business, and that's just because I thought that suited running a business like this the best. However, we have people on staff who didn't do that route, who don't even have a college education at all, or maybe they've taken a few classes. We have some with associates, we have some with degrees in journalism. I mean, there's so many different aspects that you might find that you're suited for a job of this nature. You don't want to be just doing one thing. You really are a self-starter and like to do different things, which really takes me to my next question as far as what type of person does it take to do your jobs, the skills and the personality. And I would say you definitely need to be a self-starter. You need to be someone who you don't like someone breathing down your neck telling you exactly what to do. You need to be imaginative and creative, be a team player. Know that about yourself, because you will excel in a job like this. If you're someone who knows you want to have exactly game plan, this wouldn't be for you. You wouldn't enjoy it. You would feel discouraged because you'd feel like you wouldn't know what you're supposed to be doing next. Whereas I thrive in this environment because I know the sky's the limit. If I can think it and create it and get my team on board with me to hash it out, then it's a go and it's gonna happen. And I don't have to answer to, say, a big corporation where it has to go through some long chain of command. I enjoy being able to make those spur of the moment decisions and knowing I can make a good decision for the team, for the business as a whole, for my staffing, those type of things. I really enjoy that aspect of a small company. And that's one of the things I definitely like about my job. I like the people aspect, but I also appreciate that there's a down season where there's less HR side of things. It's more of I can be the one doing the work and being out in the nature and being creative and inspecting the bees. And it's not just with a computer, although you take some of those skills and it can be especially this day and age with all the technology and the Zoom meetings and online stores, it can be more of that if that's your skill set and that's your passion. And it's a fun place for visitors. That makes it fun because people coming here are generally in a good mood. They want to be here. They've chosen to take their families here. They want to make their lasting memories. So they're already in a good mindset. You know, you're not here at a doctor's office and people are here in pain. You know, it's a fun place, and that makes it rewarding as far as bringing smiles to people's faces. And I like that. Again, I'll reiterate, I like that it's a small company, the ability to change things as needed, and there's not a ton of oversight unless I feel like I need more assistance. Salary range for the job. Now this is kind of a difficult question to answer because it really depends on the unique company that you're working for. But I would say starting out, you could expect to make around $26,000, $28,000 a year. Again, you may be paid hourly, so that could fluctuate slightly depending on the seasons. But it could go up to $50,000, maybe more than that if the company is successful and you're tied into the bonuses and that sort of thing, and you stick with the job. You should be looking at raises every year. So, you know, it could go higher than that. It just depends on the company you're with. What made you decide to do your job? Yes, I am one of the family, but I actually have 4 siblings and none of them work with the orchard currently. They have all had various roles when they were younger, but I did choose to come back to the orchard, and the way I did it is, yes, I went to school, and then I took 2 years, I joined the Peace Corps, and I served in Paraguay for 2 years as a crop extensionist, and my thinking being, this would allow me to take a step back to see it with a different perspective, to see, is this what I want to return to? Because I wanted to go all in. I didn't want to do it half-heartedly or just feel like I was entitled to the position. I wanted to earn it and to know I loved it and to know it was for me. So that's one reason why I chose to do it, because of the reasons I stated above. I get to raise my family here. I have flexibility. I really get to relive a lot of the aspects of my childhood that I loved most, which was working with my family, having a job, and learning responsibility through various tasks that I did. I would like to remind you to treat any job, no matter how small you think it is, with importance, because you would be amazed at where that job could take you. Perhaps it's a seasonal job, perhaps it's just a temporary job and you know it's ending, or it's not very many hours, or it feels very basic, that you're a low man on the totem pole. But guess what? I work with young people every day who I see excel and grow up to be the next leaders here at Curtis Orchard. In fact, I have 2 employees that started when they were 16. They were just in high school, and now one is full-time here, and the other is a manager also, and she will probably be the next full-time staff member as well. And that's just because she started out in the bakery and showed her dedication and hard work and came back year after year. Also, we have 2 other staff members that also started here seasonally. Now, they weren't quite as young, but they worked in various departments. We saw potential and moved them up into management positions. So Don't take it for granted what a small job could be. I give references all the time for other people moving on into college or graduate degrees, or maybe they're looking for other jobs. So don't take for granted the temporary or seasonal positions. A lot of times this is a great way to get your foot in the door, to get your first job experience, and to prove to yourself what you can do and what you can accomplish, and that you're capable of showing up on time, having a good attitude no matter what's going on in your life, and working with school and family obligations and still maintaining a work-life balance. So it's a good skill, it's a good thing to start out with, and we definitely would look forward to considering hiring you next season when we get started.